Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something really fascinating. Oracle cards. You know those decks you see everywhere now?
Absolutely. They've become super popular, haven't they? They're
Yeah.
often used for uh, self-discovery, getting in touch with your intuition.
Right, and this deep dive is really for you, our listener, if you're curious and want to get a good handle on what they're all about quickly without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Exactly. And the first thing you notice is just the sheer variety.
Mm.
I mean, the artwork, the themes, goddesses, animals, crystals, you name it. It's quite different from, say, tarot.
Yeah, that's a key point we definitely want to unpack. So, our mission today is pretty clear. Give you a solid history of oracle cards and really nail down how they're distinct from tarot and also Lenormand cards. Make it interesting.
Let's do it. So first things first, what are we actually talking about when we say oracle cards?
Good question. Lay it out for us.
Okay, so fundamentally, they're a tool for divination, used for getting spiritual insights,
Yeah.
exploring yourself. But the key thing is their flexibility.
Flexibility, how?
Well, unlike tarot, there's no fixed number of cards. A deck might have 40 cards, another might have 60. And the creator decides everything to do. The art, the messages. Some have guidebooks, some don't.
Ah, okay. So that guidebook, if there is one, that's kind of like the deck's specific language, its own little system.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. The deck lexicon, you could call it.
Yeah.
It tells you the creator's intended meaning or structure. But others really encourage you to just, feel the card's meaning.
Which is why they feel maybe more intuitive for some people, less structured to learn up front.
Precisely. And you see that in the themes. Angels, nature, spirit guides, even just positive affirmations sometimes. You might see some called positive guidance cards, which are basically a type of oracle card focused on, well, positive guidance.
Makes sense. And the word oracle itself, does that give us any clues?
It does, actually. It comes from the Latin orare, meaning to pray or to speak. So it implies this idea of receiving communication, maybe from the divine or your higher self, however you frame it.
Interesting, like a conversation almost.
Yeah, like a mirror reflecting your current energy, or maybe a chat with the wise part of yourself, showing you the truth of the situation without judgment. It's seen by some as maybe a more modern take on older card systems.
Okay, that leads us perfectly into the big comparison. Oracle versus tarot, people often get them mixed up, right? What's the absolute core difference?
Structure. It really boils down to structure. Tarot is very defined.
Yeah.
Always 78 cards, period.
Right, the 78 cards, that's the major arcana and the minor arcana.
Exactly. 22 major arcana, the big life lessons, the archetypes, and then 56 minor arcana split into 4 suits: wands, swords, pentacles, cups. Each suit has number cards, ace through 10, and 4 court cards, page, knight, queen, king.
So it's a whole established system. Each card has traditional meanings, layers of symbolism. Learning tarot is like learning a language almost.
It really is. You learn the language of the cards, the archetypes, and how they interact in different layouts or spreads to tell a story. It's quite complex.
Okay, so tarot, fixed structure, 78 cards, established meanings. Oracle cards.
Oracle cards. Totally free-form in comparison. No set number of cards, no required suits, or major-minor division. Each deck is its own unique thing, born from the creator's ideas.
So no single tradition, they all follow?
Nope. Each one stands alone, which again can make them feel less daunting if you're new to card divination. The learning curve for tarot can feel steep, whereas with oracle cards, you can often just jump in more intuitively.
Can you use them together, like tarot to clarify an oracle reading?
Some readers do, yeah.
Oh.
They might pull a tarot card if an oracle card feels a bit ambiguous, just to add another layer, but it's definitely not required. Oracle decks are designed to work on their own.
Got it. Now, what about Lenormand cards? Where do they sit in all this? We hear that name sometimes, too.
Good point. Lenormand is another distinct system. While our sources didn't focus heavily on comparing it directly to Oracle, the key thing to know is that, like tarot, Lenormand is structured.
Ah, okay, so not free form like Oracle.
Right. A typical Lenormand deck has 36 cards. Each card has quite specific, concrete symbols and meanings, like the rider, the clover, the ship. And you usually read them in combination, pairs, or lines to build a picture.
So tarot and Lenormand structured systems. Oracle equals unstructured, flexible, unique to the deck.
That's the main takeaway, yes. Oracle's defining feature is that adaptability.
Okay, that clarifies the distinctions really well. Let's talk history. Where did this more flexible Oracle card idea really take off?
Well, while forms of divination cards have been around for ages, oracle cards, as we kind of know them now, had a big surge in popularity, especially in the 19th and 20th centuries.
What's going on then?
It ties into the rise of the New Age movement. There was this huge interest in spiritualism, psychic phenomena, alternative ways of knowing, and that cultural climate was perfect for creators to develop new kinds of decks, exploring all sorts of spiritual ideas.
Like a creative explosion for divination tools.
Pretty much, and the decks we see today are direct descendants of that.
But they've also evolved.
They reflect our current times.
How have they evolved? What's different now?
Modern decks pull from an even wider range of sources, I think. You see influences from, like, angelic traditions, animal spirit guides, crystals, elemental energy, even concepts from modern psychology find their way in. It's very eclectic.
Reflecting a more diverse spiritual landscape, maybe.
Exactly. Very inclusive.
Okay, let's get practical. For you listening, if you pick up an oracle deck, how do you actually use it? Is there a right way?
The million-dollar question. Honestly, the most important thing is there isn't one single right way. It's much more of an art about trusting your intuition.
But are there some common starting points, things people generally do?
Oh, for sure. A lot of people like to connect with the deck first. Maybe just hold it, shuffle it, look through the cards. Some people literally touch each card, kind of pouring their energy into it, getting familiar.
Setting an intention, asking for guidance.
Yes, absolutely. Taking a quiet moment, centering yourself. Maybe asking your higher self or the universe or whatever you connect with for clear guidance through the cards. Shuffling is key too. It helps infuse your energy and your question into the deck.
And then picking the cards. How does that usually work? Just grab one from the top?
You can. Or shuffle until one feels like it needs to come out. Sometimes a card literally jumps out of the deck while you're shuffling people. Often pay special attention to those jumpers.
Ooh, like a little nudge from the universe.
Kinda, yeah. Or you can fan them out and pick one you're drawn to. Again, it's about following that intuitive hit. There are no rigid rules.
What about questions? Is it better to ask specific things or keep it broad?
Generally, open-ended questions work best. Things like, what energy do I need to be aware of today? Or what insight can help me with this challenge? Try to avoid simple yes-no questions or trying to get concrete future predictions.
So it's less about fortune telling and more about insight into the now.
Exactly. It's about understanding the current energy, potential pathways, your own inner state. More like guidance and reflection.
Can you use spreads, like in tarot?
You definitely can. Simple ones like a one-card draw for daily focus are common. Or maybe a three-card spread for past-present potential. But you don't have to use spreads. The cards often speak powerfully on their own.
And when you look at the card you've drawn,
Notice your first reaction. Like immediately. What thought, feeling, image pops into your head. That's often your intuition chiming in before your analytical brain takes over.
good tip. Trust that first hit.
Yeah. And maybe journal about it. Write down the date, your question, the card, your initial thoughts. Over time, you might see interesting patterns or synchronicities.
What about the space? Does setting up a specific environment help?
It can. Creating a quiet space, maybe lighting a candle, putting on some calming music, taking a few deep breaths. It just helps you focus and connect. Some people like to formally bless their decks too, handling each card and setting an intention for clarity and wisdom.
I like the idea someone suggested. Ask if this card could talk, what would it say?
That's a great technique. It really helps personify the message and access your intuition. You can also use them for intention setting. Pick a card that represents an energy you want to cultivate and put it somewhere visible.
So lots of ways to engage. It sounds very personal, very adaptable.
It really is. People use them daily, weekly, just when they feel stuck. Some use them in rituals, others find them helpful in therapy to access subconscious thoughts. It's about finding what resonates for you.
Which ties back perfectly to you, our listener, looking for tools to gain knowledge and different perspectives on things.
Yeah, they offer a different kind of knowing, an intuitive knowing.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Quick recap. The core differences we need to remember. Oracle versus tarot versus Lenormand.
Right. Oracle cards, flexible, intuitive, no set structure, unique to creator. Tarot, fixed 78-card structure, major minor arcana, suits, established meanings, like learning a language. Lenormand also structured, typically 36 cards, specific symbols read in combination.
And oracle cards are primarily for.
Primarily for insight, self-reflection, connecting with your intuition, and understanding the energies at play in your life right now. Very much about guidance in the present.
Perfect. So here's a final thought for you to consider. As you go about gathering information and knowledge, how might bringing in a practice like using oracle cards, something more intuitive, more reflective, add a different, perhaps deeper dimension to your understanding of yourself and the situations around you?
Yeah, moving beyond just the facts and figures, tapping into a different kind of wisdom.
If this has sparked your curiosity and you want to see what kinds of decks are out there, we recommend checking out https.divineminddivination.com. Lots to explore there.
You might just find a deck that speaks your language.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.